The Honourable Leader of the Second Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Premier did not speak to the details of his economic plan today at the State of the Province address. He mostly rehashed talking points that we hear day in and day out in this House. He paid lip service to meth, on which his government has no plan. He paid lip service to poverty, on which his government has no plan.
Not true.
And I admire the authors of this report, but this, frankly, is another plan to plan. On page 11, it says the government has announced, quote, efforts to develop a strategy for more capital, end quote. There are no timelines, there are no outcomes, and while the goals are admirable, there is still no way to get there. One of the simplest recommendations that stands out is that this government, quote, relaunch current programming, end quote, to provide access to capital for Manitoba businesses. Why did this government suspend its programming to provide access to capital to Manitoba businesses?
The Honourable Minister of Growth, Enterprise and Trade.
Madam Speaker, if the member had been at the State of the Province speech today, he would have realized that there are so many good things that the Premier had to say. He just couldn't get all the details out today. So I would suggest to the member...
Order.
I would suggest to the member to go to the website, manitobagrowth.ca, and he will see the details of our strategic growth fund there. The details are all online.
The Honourable Leader of the Second Opposition on a supplementary question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was at the lunch. I was just in the cheap seats. Madam Speaker, the document calls for greater federal-provincial cooperation and especially for Manitoba's research and development. Manitoba has been home to incredible innovations. Canola from the U of M, Dr. Frank Gunston of Brandon invented the artificial knee joint, and there are people with the ideas and skills to innovate and to create new businesses right here in Manitoba. Yet this government has suspended the business commercialization program. They cut post-secondary research support, for which there are federal matching funds, so every dollar the province cut, researchers in Manitoba lost too. How much of this report, Growing Manitoba's Economy, is addressing the inaction and damage done by this government?
The Honourable Minister of Growth, Enterprise and Trade.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I realize that research is difficult, but if the member was paying attention, he would have realized that that business support program is now called the Innovation Growth Fund. The capital remains the same in it, but now it can be much more targeted as we work with our strategic partners to build economy all across Manitoba. And I just want to remind the member, as he talks to access to capital, Manitoba continues to lead the country in terms of private investment capital.
The Honourable Leader of the Second Opposition on a final supplementary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I understand that the Premier and his government want to present the best possible face in his government's dismal economic performance, because the Manitoba Employers Council 2018 report tells quite a different story. The Premier says wages are up, but the Manitoba Employers...
Order.
But the Manitoba Employers Council points out they're still the lowest in the West. As for private investment, it's because investment in Alberta and Saskatchewan have plummeted, and BC and Ontario have flatlined. The Premier is fond of cherry-picking stats because he often only looks to one side of the balance sheet. Between 2008 and 2017, says this report, Manitoba has lost 50,000 people. Most recently, this government has taken to boasting about praise from the Dominion Bond Rating Service, a company that mislabeled $32 billion of investments as safe in the 2008 financial crisis that turned out to be complete junk. Did this government pay DBRS for this report, and if so, how much did it cost?
I'm having difficulty hearing, so I would ask for everybody's cooperation, please, so that the speaker can hear the questions and the answers in case there is something that is being said that I need to rule on. So I would ask for everybody's cooperation, please. The Honourable Minister of Growth, Enterprise and Trade.
Well, Madam Speaker, the member's financial acumen, or lack of it, is definitely showing there. No, we don't pay Dominion Bond Rating Service. We don't have to pay them just to tell us that, because they realize we're doing such a great job here in Manitoba. We're leading the country in terms of doing what we said we would do. We are doing in terms of financial forecasts and financial matters. Madam Speaker, we're leading the nation in private investment because businesses understand Manitoba is the place to invest because of our tax structure, because we're keeping our word on our budget, and they know that unlike the previous government who continue to raise taxes, we will hold taxes in line and even lower them.